Today I'm going to be answering a question that's come from a couple of fans, and it kind of works as a prequel to the last video I posted about my home studio, in that it's about the step before I even get to creating a demo. This question was asked by Steve Ballard and Nigel Briggs, and can I just say that I have seen both your names very often on my Facebook page and other of my sites, and so thank you for being obviously such loyal and supportive fans. And you both happen to ask how I actually get the inspiration for my songs and how I actually begin to write or compose. So I'm going to try and answer this today, but it is really tricky because it's something that's really natural for me, and it's something I've always done. And so it's almost like me trying to describe how I breathe, you know, how my lungs move and everything. And my own brain is still a mystery to me, so I'm going to try really hard, and I've actually made notes. I have notes down here to try not to let this run on for ages and ages as well, to try and condense my thoughts a little bit. So I'm actually going to begin with writing to a brief, because I have written in so many different ways, different styles and so on, and one of that is writing to a brief. A while back I actually did some collaborative writing as well, where my brief was basically the instrumentation of a song. So I was given all of the music of a song, and then I wrote the song, the lyrics and melody over that. And that is, you know, half the work is done for me there. It's quite easy for me in that it makes my life so much easier. So that's great, because I worked with a couple of composers, and the music itself would suggest a feeling to me, and therefore perhaps a lyrical content, and obviously my melody would have to work over the chords and within the structure of the music. So I listened to the music and sang melodies and lyrics over and over until I felt I had something that worked, and then developed that. And that was before I kind of really focused on the style I'm on now. So that was kind of more of an R&B and pop style of music that we were creating at the time. And there was one of them was a track called Feels So Good, which is an R&B track which was released. So the other briefs I have worked with, As Markham is probably one of the first. And this is a combination of Eastern and Western music in 4 movements that I wrote years ago. And it was an Indian dance company that came to me and asked me to write the music for them to choreograph to. So, differently from the albums that I currently release, these weren't songs. This was a massive load of music, and I didn't actually write any lyrics for it. I wrote a small piece of vocalization in one part, but it was instrumental on the whole. I was given a few little starting pieces of music that were mainly Indian beat counting, and I hadn't really heard anything like that before, but I obviously had to work those in some areas. But the rest of it, I was given the story, which was about an Indian woman coming to England and becoming part of the culture, and my music had to create that story and reflect it. And I wrote it in about 2.5 months, and I think it was probably quite stressful. And I remember the dance company would come round weekly, I believe, and ask for more music to choreograph to. So it was pretty high pressured. And I just kind of played around with instrumental lines until I came up with melodies that I felt conveyed the emotions that I was trying to depict. And that we performed that, and then eventually we took it to the Edinburgh Fringe as well for a run, and that was really, really fun. And I sang the vocals each night as well. That was a great experience. The next thing that I wrote to a brief was My True Nature, which of course the Worldwide Fund for Nature commissioned from me for their 50th anniversary. And for that I was given the title, which was the title of their campaign, My True Nature, and asked to write something that was about my thoughts and feelings and my relationship with the natural world. And I don't know how long it was, but I remember sitting in front of my computer and just trying out lots of ideas and being very frustrated and just thinking, no, this isn't right, no, this doesn't sound right. And then somehow I came to the chorus of My True Nature, and I wrote the lyrics, "There's more than your eye can ever know," etc., etc. And I knew that that was the chorus. And I then began to write the verses and the instrumentation around it, and so on and so forth. But I think I had, the lyrics and the melody for the chorus are what came first for that. My most recent brief that I've written to has been the fairy lullabies that I released last winter. And that was because Ego Trip Media discovered my music, and they've used some of my songs in their films, and also I've cameoed in some of their films, which has been really fun. And then they actually came to me and said, "Would you write a song for us using Shakespeare's words from A Midsummer Night's Dream? We need a fairy lullaby." And I said, "Yes, of course I will." And so I was given some words from the play, but I was actually laying in bed one day, staring at the ceiling, and I started writing another fairy lullaby to my own lyrics, because I started hearing the words like "sleep, sleep," and "hush, hush," and that was the dreaming. And I lay there and I wrote quite a large proportion of that song just staring at the ceiling. And I could kind of hear that I wanted ethereal fairy choirs, as if they were kind of hiding in the trees, and I could hear the rhythm of the song and quite a lot of the instrumentation. So I went back to them and said, "I've actually written this other song," and they were like, "Great, that's brilliant, we'll have two." So then I had to go and actually take a look at Shakespeare's words, and obviously therefore I didn't have to write the lyrics. What I did instead was I read through them many, many, many times until I broke them down into what I felt was the verse and the chorus, and they became a structure to me, a song structure to me. And then the words themselves gave me a rhythm, so it just happened that I felt that that song and the dreaming were in 3/4, kind of waltz timing. And because they were written by Shakespeare, and it was from Midsummer Night's Dream, etc., I wanted the instrumentation to vaguely reflect that era. It's probably not historically correct exactly, but I wanted a lute and some medieval recorders, which aren't quite from the right time, but to create that kind of Elizabethan feel. And so that's, I wrote the instrumentation around that and just wanted to create this Elizabethan yet fairyish, dreamy feel to the lyrics, which talk about snakes and newts and all kinds of things, and the fairy queen. So I believe that was my last brief that I wrote. So I'm now going to go on and talk to you about my own songs, as in the songs that I just write naturally, that just come to me. And this is probably the most mysterious part of all my writing. When it comes to inspiration comes to me from so many different places. I have a really eclectic music taste myself. Some of the music I listen to bears no resemblance whatsoever to what I write. But I think that's pretty healthy, really. And I think it all adds to what I'm doing. Can I just say as well, if you can hear really strange noises right now, I'm really sorry, but it's my rabbits running around. And they're like banging things, and I don't know what they're doing. they're out there. Where was I? Music. I listen to loads of different music, and it spans many, many eras and many genres. And it's not just songs. It'll be classical, from films, all kinds of places. And I find that all really inspirational. I was taught some basic music analysis when I did my A-level in music technology, and I found that so helpful because it means that when I listen to a song, oh my goodness, I don't know what they're doing at that. It means that when I listen to a song, I can work out what it is that I like about the song, and I kind of ferret away ideas of maybe a vocal effect or the style of the guitar or anything really. I really enjoy analysing music. That makes me sound like such a nerd, but I do. And I do find that very helpful in then writing music, because it just adds to inspiration, really. As well as that, there are stories that could be books, films, TV, other people's lives as well. Just seeing what goes on around me, that can be very inspirational to a song subject. And then there's my own life, which has inspired many songs, and The Gift Part 2 is particularly autobiographical of my last few years of experience. So obviously it's important to live a life, I think, to write music and compose, because it can give you so much to draw on. I can have a song idea anywhere at all. I can be walking to meet a friend down the road and have a song idea as I'm humming to myself. The most annoying place to have a song idea is where everyone sings the most to themselves, I think, in the car and in the shower. I sing a lot, and they're actually really productive places, which is really annoying because I don't have easy access to some way of recording down the idea. So I have to then keep singing the song until I've got to the end of the journey, or until I've finished washing my hair, so that I can then record onto my phone or put it into one of my lyric books. And my lyric books also are another source of inspiration for me. I have dozens of them, dating right back to when I was a child. I don't even remember how young, maybe 10, I don't know. Because I've been writing all my life. And I don't get rid of any of them. I keep them all. And sometimes I leaf back through them. And what I find really, really weird, I don't understand it at all, is that I can look through a lyric book from 10 years ago. I can read a page of lyrics and still remember the melody that went with that song, even though it was never a song I produced or anything. That I find that really odd. It's just really bizarre. But yeah, my lyric books, I particularly like to have very nice, pretty ones now, because they're very precious items to me, so I kind of, this one looks precious too. It has even a fake lock on it, it's good. They're very, very private, my lyric books, and very precious. And yeah, I always have one, and I fill them up, and then I get another one, but I keep the old ones. But I don't like really people to read them or look through them, because there's something really awkward about a song just on a page before it's become a song. But you guys will know loads of the lyrics in lots of these books already from the songs I've already released. There's also, the other thing I keep is, I don't know if you're going to be able to see this, but I will try. But on here, I don't know if it's coming back. Yeah, it's coming up slightly. That is just some of the folder of songs that I have on my computer, because whenever I have sat down and recorded an idea on here, I've never deleted it. I never ever delete an idea, and it's proved really good, because it's proved very useful, because some of them actually will one day become a song that I release, or some of them I recycle and I use the idea somewhere else. So I never get rid of lyrics or song files, because they can come in handy. The oldest example of this is probably Strange, because that was released 10 years after I'd written it. The instrumentation changed slightly, but it was the same song. And there is a song on The Gift Part 2, which was just a verse on here for, I've discovered it was in 2012 I actually wrote it. It was a verse on here for ages, and every time I listened to it I thought, I really like this song, I really like this verse, but I don't know where it goes. I just have no idea where it goes at all. Then last year I listened to it, and it stayed in my head, and I was singing it in the car one day, and I sang it over and over again, and suddenly I started singing the chorus, and then there was a whole song started to be born. So I always keep all of these. It's very important to me that I do. What else can I tell you? What do I actually hear when I start to write a song? So I know for different composers and writers this differs. I personally, I think what I hear is both lyrics and melody, and it can be a really short snippet. It might be half a verse, might be anything, but I will literally open my mouth, start singing a melody and lyrics together, and then quite often I will hear an instrumental line with it. so accompanying it in my head. That could be a string line over the top, could be a guitar riff that leads in before the lyrics start, or it could be a bass and drum groove that underlies the lyrics and melody. It's so mysterious and strange, but that's how it happens. Just going to turn over the page, have a look what I've written here. Yeah, basically when I get to that stage, I will obviously write down my lyrics or record the melody idea onto my phone, and then I might sit down. Usually it's if a song keeps popping back into my head. It's my way, my brain is telling me that I have to work on it. Doesn't mean that it'll ever get released, but it means I have to work on it. So then I will come to my computer, sit down, and I will record in the vocals and play in the instrumentation of whatever I have in my mind. And if I'm really into that, then I will sit and work on it, and hours can fly by. I get quite consumed with that and unaware of what's going on. And then I will kind of come to and sit back and listen to the song. And if the song feels a bit boring, doesn't feel like it's really doing much for me, I will leave it, and I will possibly never go back to it, but never delete it. Or I may go back to it, and it may actually manage to become something one day. But if I sit back and I listen to what I've created, and it excites me, it makes me feel this specific kind of excitement that I feel almost like butterflies in my stomach. I can't really describe it well, but then that is my way of telling myself basically that it's something worth pursuing. Once again, it may never become a released song, but it usually means I'm onto something and it's worth continuing with it. So, and that's one of those moments that I kind of really enjoy from making music. It's something really hard to describe to other people, and it's quite a wonderful moment really to feel that. So, the last thing I was just going to talk about was Nigel Briggs also asked, how do I choose a song to do a cover of? Do I just choose songs that I like? And the answer is no, I don't just choose songs that I like. There are loads of songs that I love, but I feel like they are released in the peak state that they could be released in, and I have nothing to offer them. I would cover a song if I feel I could bring something really new to it and reinvent it in some way. The song, my cover of Summertime, I knew the song from most of my life. I've known that song. I actually performed the classical original version in one of my singing grade exams. And then a few years ago, or whenever it was, I can't remember now, I just heard this guitar riff, and it was like da 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 da, and then I could hear the melody and lyrics of Summertime slotting over it. And then I heard these backing vocals that were bringing out the meaning of some of the lines. And so I sat down at my computer and I worked on it, and I could hear the drums I wanted. I wanted these heavy, pounding drums. And sure enough, I created that demo really quickly, actually. And when I listened to it, I thought, I haven't really heard Summertime done like this. And I researched online, I researched lots of different covers to see if that was the case. And sure enough, I didn't feel that I really came across anything that was quite the same. And then I felt that was a worthwhile cover. I had really made it Eleanore and the Lost, and it was worth producing and releasing. So I don't know how long this video has been. I think it's been really long, but I hope that it's given you some insight into how my strange brain works at creating music and songs. And it's been quite interesting for me to try and explain this as well. So I will see you very soon, and ask any more questions you wish. Bye!